Good evening, if you are watching live, and welcome to episode 171 of the About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube, as always, with host Stefan Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins.
Oh, hi.
I'm Ben Wilson at Our Trading Cards, and we are a podcast by collectors for collectors, and we hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central, 11 Eastern.
Which became a point of contention on Twitter when everybody was trying to shout out their preference when everybody knows the West Coast is the best, right? I mean, that's California love, right? So you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast the next day, everywhere you can find a podcast, usually available. Steph, what do you say about noon Pacific?
Noon Pacific, yeah.
Noon Pacific, 2 Central, 3 Eastern.
Sure.
You can always check out our website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. And Steph and I were talking before the show. We're going to have a few new exciting things in the pipeline. We don't know exactly what yet, but I think we're going to bring back a couple of things we've been working on in the past, telling some of the history of different card sets, how they were introduced into the hobby, as well as some of the manufacturers that are no longer with us, but that we want to remember and so many of us enjoy. So we'll keep you updated as that goes on. Mm-hmm. We have 2 guests with us tonight. Steph's internet is not playing nicely tonight. So we had Andrew Renault at Bayside Breakers hop on as a extra just in case. And then, of course, we have Tony. How do you pronounce your last name?
No, you do it first. Come on,
Ben.
Beyond Keeney.
It's Beyond Keeney. Did I get
there
it?
There you go, Ben.
Awesome. I only had to say it 12, 15 times in classic concentration with the you say this part first, that part next. So welcome, Tony. First off, for anybody that doesn't know you, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, ABianchini23. It's ABIANCHINI 23, just like the last name is spelled. So both on Instagram, Twitter, on Card Art, we have a Card Art Facebook page, and then online cardart.com. Really easy to remember, just 7 letters, CARDART.com.
Awesome. We'll definitely get into the Card Art. It's part of the reason we definitely wanted you on, to kind of promote that and some of your other work within the hobby that people might not be familiar with. And if you are, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your card collecting story, and of course, I want you to touch on your PC of Don Mattingly, how many cards you potentially have. More importantly, why Don Mattingly? So if you want to give us a little bit of your collecting history, we'd love it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in North Jersey in the 80s, and Don Mattingly was it. I was a Yankee fan, still am a Yankee fan, and collected 100, 200 of his cards back then. And like everybody else, I kind of stopped collecting over a certain period, probably from like 96 to 2010, and then just got back into it again. You know, that's when you have like the disposable income after college and you get a job and have nothing else to spend it on except things you enjoy. And so started collecting Mattingly cards again. And over the years, going to like card shows and going through dollar boxes, I've gotten probably 2,000 different ones.
No, you're talking about 2,000 unique or 2,000 including?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So probably like another 500 doubles, right? And I like give away my doubles to Don Mattingly fans that I meet on social media. That's like the funnest part of it.
Yeah. Obviously, as a big McGuire super collector, people are like, how many do you have? It's like, okay, are we talking unique? Are we talking about A's versus Cardinals? Are we talking about total? Andrew is another, has got tons of Will Clarks in duplicate and Umpliticate, where you've got hundreds of the same card. No wrong way to collect, but yeah, it's different when somebody's like, how many do you have? Well, why are you asking, or how are you asking?
Yeah.
So
well, that's good to know you like Big Mac. We'll probably get into Project 2020 later, but last year Blake Jameson, who's one of the artists on 2020, McGuire is also his favorite. And so McGuire called him one day, and I was at the studio when he spoke to him for like 20 minutes. And that was a great highlight from last year to hear Mark McGuire, who I grew up like seeing play baseball. on the phone.
Okay, so
Very nice.
note to self: hit up Blake to get Mark McGuire's telephone number. If you could talk to Blake and have Blake talk to Mark so that Mark can come on the show, I mean, I that's how networking works. Networking 101.
So up your best friend. If that happened, right?
I think that would be like the ultimate mic drop walk off moment if I could just yeah.
So that's how we get rid of Ben.
That's how you get
with
rid of me.
some
Yeah. So you worked with Blake last year,
Yep.
and that's really how you came across my timeline, and I started to get to know you at least through the whole Twitterverse. He's a friend of the show. He's been on twice now with us. For those of you not familiar with Project 2020 and 70, I'm sure everybody is, but Blake is one of the artists that was on both 2020 and was brought back for 70. So what exactly did you do for him last year?
Sure.
And are you working with him this year?
So like I said before, I've been collecting cards since probably the last 30, 35 years, probably 87, 88, or 86 was like my first set. And I've been collecting cards my whole life, but I've also been in public relations, marketing, communications for a good 20 years. And so when Project 2020 started last year, I noticed a lot of the artists were getting involved in interacting with the fans, which you don't see that. You don't see people that are making baseball cards, and typically you don't see artists communicating with their fan base as closely as they were last year. And I think a lot of those artists took note of that and definitely helped sales for the project because they were communicating and building that community and getting fans involved in the process. And so that's kind of what I did last year with Blake, helping him to promote his Project 2020 cards, build that community, talk one-on-one with fans, and get them excited about his art and get them involved in the process as he was making it.
So Blake Jameson, and now you see Lauren Taylor, and I know Blake and Lauren have done a lot of collaborative work, whether it be at the National or after the fact. Yep. They went one direction while you had Ben Baller and this year Bobby Hundreds both went a completely different direction and did not have the same rapport right out of the gate with the hobbyist. We've said on the show many times that these projects probably we're not the target consumer, at least not the primary. Okay. Yep. We are at least the secondary. The art collectors, the fans of these particular artists are most of us didn't know who any of these men and women were prior,
or what art was before, right?
Yeah, potentially, right? I mean, we all have art because that's what these trading cards are, but not in the same way. And there's so many phenomenal ones. It's really interesting though to see how Blake and again Lauren Taylor and quite a few of the other ones have chosen to interact with the hobby and become part of the hobby.
Yep.
Whether they were to begin with or not.
Yep.
Versus how some other ones are like, screw the hobby, and it's like, whoa, baller, back up. You need us as a hobby. Yep. So that's awesome. I know that staying on the topic of 2020, I believe all the artists got a discount, if I'm not mistaken, if they wanted to buy their own cards or those of other artists. Somehow you ended up with the entire 400 card collection.
I did not get a discount.
Oh, wow.
That was painful every day, buying those cards every day. But I really love that set. And I love that set because you can display that set. And how many baseball cards can you display? How many of your baseball cards are you displaying, or are they really in your closet? Or are they really in your safety deposit box? Right? And so I last year opened up baseball card collectors' eyes to art. I didn't have any art on my wall before. I love Don Mattingly. I have 2,000 cards. I had no Don Mattingly art. This year I have 15 paintings from 10 different artists. And it's the same thing. It just introduced me to the world of art.
No, it's interesting to start to see some of that crossover blend. And how that developed to where you once you get a little bit of that taste, you want more. Now, at what point did you decide with Project 2020, you know what, I'm all in, I'm going for all 400?
It definitely, I learned about the project with Blake's first card, which was the Nolan Ryan, which was card 18. My first card was like card 10, and I was going to collect a few of them. I was going to collect all the Don Mattingly, and then I just got involved and like thought to myself, like, how many people are going to collect this whole set? Not a lot of people. And I thought that would be unique. And so just did it every day. And I got some doubles here and there. I didn't go crazy. Didn't buy huge 10 packs and get greedy like other people. I just collected because I liked collecting the set, not for the investing of it.
Did you end up getting any of the artist proofs or any of the parallels?
Yeah. I have 17 of the 20 Mattingly artist proofs.
Oh, nice.
And a couple of them are signed. Blake signed his. I got one signed by Old Man Allen. And then working on getting some other ones. I have a bunch of signed copies from the artists. So definitely have a cool Mattingly collection for Project 2020. Good 60 different ones.
So getting Blake to sign your Mattingly, that's not fair if you work with the guy.
True.
Like, hey, I need your signature on this real quick. I mean, yeah, that's awesome.
I just slid it in with the other ones, right? I was like,
I used to own a coffee shop. I don't know if I've told this story on the show, but my business partner and I refused to make coffee for the other guy, right? It's like, hey, you own this too. You make your own cup of coffee. I'm not making you one. And one day we were super busy and I'm just making coffee drink, right? And at the very end, I'm making this iced breve, which was not a very popular coffee drink 20 plus years ago when we had the drink, which is a latte with half and half instead of milk. And I'm like, I have an iced breve here. And he's like, oh, that's for me. And I'm like, you son of a gun. So I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. Blake's doing his thing. You slide one in there. He won't even know the difference. So you and I talked on the phone last week before, whatever it's been now. And we were talking about how many complete sets of Project 2020 potentially exist that were not artists. I'm assuming most of the artists, if not all of them, probably have a complete set.
Mm-hmm.
What's your estimation? I don't know what the lowest print run is.
Chris Torres from CRT Sports Cards, he had like a poll at the end of last year and asked people like, do you have a complete set or not? I think there was like 30 or 40 people at the time that said they did. So I'm guessing I would guess that it would be like 100 people.
Probably only half of those people who actually said they had the full set actually had it, and the other half were lying.
Yeah. Yep. So, like pollsters, right? So
yeah.
So the Dwight Gooden Beck,
yep,
barely cleared 1,000. So you'd have to. I mean that's your barometer, right? It's no more than 1,000.
Your maximum, right?
Could exist.
And how many people are like Dwight Gooden fans that are never giving those cards up, right? Yeah. And how many people are collecting them for other reasons because they like Tyson Beck, and so just got to whittle it down.
I would imagine. I mean, we're looking at 50 sets max, right? I mean, it can't be that many. I mean, just the cost alone, right? You're looking at $8,000 plus taxes, and Steph, Andrew, what do you guys think? How many sets?
I was going to say 50.
1 to 2 at most. 50 to 100, somewhere in there.
So Tony, let me ask you this: obviously, what you have at a retail. I don't know if you got any. I mean, you got the bulk discount because you were buying it by the day, but you're still right around that $8,000 all in.
Yeah.
What's it valued at if you were going to sell it?
I mean, it's priceless to me. Right.
Sure. But I'm just saying,
I consider the set, I look at the set a lot different than maybe other people would, because like I was in the studio with Blake, I was in the studio with F. Dot, like I was at an event with Greg Ziff. I'm not trying to show off, but like it was just such a cool experience as a longtime baseball card collector to be like influencing cards and like seeing the cards that like I saw being made and like then buying the cards, and it was just like the whole experience. I was like along for the ride with everybody else. And so, like, not only do I have the set, but I have those artist proofs. I have a bunch of signed because I want to support all the artists. So I got signed copies of artist cards and, the parallel cards, the companion cards. And so, I would say it's 25,000 maybe, but I don't want to put a number on it. Like I said, I'm not selling that set ever.
but with a finite amount of these that exist, and we don't have an exact number, if you buy them individually, I mean, they were giving them away at card shows last year. That some of the more common ones, like of course the Griffey, by Keith Shore, and the Nolan Ryan, by who was it? Was it F. Dot that was released the same day? I might have the artist incorrect. No, it was
people don't understand Project 2020.
Yeah, it's Joshua Vides. But you have a lot that are well below the $20 mark now. So yeah, you're buying it in bulk, and then again, you have to have that kind of money. Even if you bought it at retail right now, you have to have somebody that would slap $8,000 on your lap just to cash you out. Personally, I imagine a complete set wouldn't sell for more than $12,000 to $15,000.
Depends where you sell it, right?
Just because, right? Yeah, and it depends how desperate somebody is that wants to just have a complete set right now and doesn't want to chase it. So you have all 650 whatever Project 70 cards, right?
Nope.
Come on.
I think I have about 20.
I bought my first the other day, and I might be buying. Thank you, Blake. Might be buying my second soon.
So you got the DJs.
I mean, like, I definitely have bought artists that I like. I just think it's too many cards, and like I don't have enough money. I barely had enough money to collect the Project 2020 set. I definitely don't have enough money to collect the 70 set. And like everyone collects differently, right? You collect your favorite player, your favorite team, or you collect sets, or you collect parallels, and like I'm like, so what are you going to collect for a 70? You might collect artists, or you might collect players, and so I collected Don Mattingly ones, that's for sure.
Well, and I mean this is no, sports related pun or disrespect. You're a Yankees fan, and that's got to be a son of a bitch for Project 70, because you have people like New York Nico, who's only going to release 20 New York, not necessarily all Yankees, but I mean, there's going to be 300 Yankees cards in this set. You've got all the Mantle and the Ruth, and Gehrig's been underrepresented, but that's a beautiful. What picture is that? Or
we got it's Joe DiMaggio's auto, Reggie, Phil Rizzuto. There's Mattingly. That's why I bought it, really. Yogi Berra, Dave Winfield, Whitey, Catfish. So while you were talking about the Yankees, I figured I'd show that.
No, that's an awesome piece.
Right.
We've talked before. I'm a huge A's fan. The Yankees are probably the easiest team to root against in all of professional sports if you're not a Yankee fan.
I don't want to talk about it.
I've got Ruth and Gehrig and Mantle all over my house, and baseball has the history, which is awesome.
Yep.
So what are you collecting within Project 70, since you do have some?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Alex Pardee cards. I've gotten Blake's cards, some F. Dot cards. I really, which one did I get? I got the Keith Shore Otani the other day, which was really cool. It was like a Pokemon style card. I really like the cards that are like tied to culture and pop culture and like nostalgia. I think the artists that tie it to the nostalgia are really like winners, and they're going to get better print runs because people that are in their 40s and like 50s were kids in the 80s, and that's what they're going to remember. And now they have that disposable income to spend that money on the cards.
Was it Brittany Palmer that did, I think, a Jim Palmer with the Pac-Man background, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep.
That's where it's really neat. If it's just, we were really hard on Old Man Allen last year because it was just photography, imagery, and not really artwork as it tied to the actual iconic card. And it's like his 20 card set was great if it was an insert set as part of Heritage or Archives. As part of Project 2020, it fell flat. In my opinion, in our opinion, we're not very favorable of his inclusion as it related to what we figured was the idea behind the, take an iconic card and reimagine it, not just take a picture of McGuire or Mattingly and slap it on a project. It's like that just doesn't work. But for Project 70, it would be great. That vision. He's completely changed his He F-Dot was another one that was just like, whoa, this is not what we saw in 2020. Complete reimagining of your art. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what Blake was going to bring to the table. We thought we knew what F-Dot was going to bring to the table, or Old Man Allen, and they've changed it up. And that's what's really neat about art, is there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to stick scary teeth on everything, like Pardee, if you want to have one eyeball on everything, like Distorted, like it, hate it, here we are talking about it.
That's what I like yesterday on social media. So I got a couple of different Ohtani cards, one from Paul Janis, who I work with and does game within the game. And then the other one was Keith Shore card. And I put them, same player, different art, right? And it just, some people like it, some people hate it, and that's art. And everyone interprets it differently and likes different things about it and sees different things in the art that you might not see or I might not see.
Yeah, anything is in the eye of the beholder, so to speak, to use a really overused cliche. But, I've got a lot of art in my house that are old pictures of houses on farms. Why? Because it reminds me of a song that brought my wife and I back together. And if that song didn't bring us back together, we wouldn't have our 2 kids. And so you mentioned Paul Janis. He's the artist behind Game Within the Game.
Yep.
Those come out, monthly?
No, they come out every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks, okay.
Right now, Shohei Ohtani is still for sale till Friday. Randy Johnson comes out. I'll share with you a picture of that. That comes out on Friday, around the same time the Ohtani ends. And he has a portrait of him on the Mariners, and then an action shot of him on the Diamondbacks. So
nice.
It's a cool mashup of it. And the series is like a portrait image and an action shot. And last year it had borders on it. It was a matte finish. And I came on at the end of the year to work with Paul starting this year. And we changed it up to do all glossy and like a full bleed. So it really looks like a mini oil painting. Oil painting is Paul's expertise. I don't know if you've seen the cards, but they're definitely pretty cool looking. That's the Vlad card that came in a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I bought the Babe Ruth. I used to PC Ruth until I became more of an A's collector, and you can't collect everything. And but yeah, when the Babe Ruth dropped, it was like, and that was the thing, it was like what, $5, $7 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, they're $7.99.
Yeah, it was affordable. If Project 70 in 2020 were that price range, I'd have a lot less money.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'd have a lot more cards, but it was cost prohibitive. Game Within the Game is extremely affordable. He's on card 8, 10, somewhere in there.
Next card is 13. There's going to be 16 in the series this year. Last year there was 12, one every month. This year there's one every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's Randy Johnson and Pete Alonso and Bo Jackson, and then Pujols to close out the year.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Can you let us know? Is Pujols going to be a Cardinal? Is he going to be an Angel? Is he going to be a Dodger?
Good question. I don't know yet. Paul did a Nolan Ryan card last year, and he was a Ranger, an Astro. I'm not sure which other team. He might have been a Met too. But he definitely, like I said, the Randy Johnson card has 2 different teams. And so it's up in the air still. It's just cool being like involved, working with him. We were working on the Pete Alonso card today, and he sent me some images, and I'm like, how about a couple of these images? Like, he won the home run derby 2 years in a row. Like, let's make that one of the shots. And it's just cool to, like, as a long-term collector, be involved in like making a baseball card like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Topps Living artist Jared Kelly on a few weeks back. And one of the questions that were something we always wanted to know is, how does it work as far as, he filled us in. Topps gives him the player. You're doing Jonah Heim last week. You're doing Colton Wong this week. He gives a couple of weeks lead time. My question to him was, if you're given Mark McGwire, do you have multiple images? Do you get to choose Cardinals versus A's? Because he did Julio Franco as a Ranger. For me, most of us our age, used the Julio Franco batting stance, and it's like, he was a Cleveland Indian, and he's like, I didn't get a choice. It's like, here's your image. He's given a little bit of freedom with with Paul, does he get any freedom for Pujols, for instance? Does he get to choose?
Yeah. So last year, before I started working with him, Topps gave him a list of 12 players that were popular. And this year we changed it up. So we started a Facebook group that has about 400 members on it. And I started a poll on Facebook and I said, who do you want to see Paul paint this year? And Paul painted at least half of the top 10 players that were picked. The other players weren't picked because we went to Topps and Topps didn't have the rights, or there was an issue with the contract, so we couldn't paint them. And so the fans have been involved in the whole process this year. There were a couple the Don Mattingly card that he painted this year. I told Paul that I would not sell that painting to anybody. I was buying that painting and we worked for free for it, right? And so I've been a member of the Don Mattingly baseball card group for 10 years. So I went to the group and I said, which of these pictures do you guys want the painting to be? It's going to be my painting, but you guys, I love you. You're my friends from 10 years and you pick it. And so I want to involve the fans in the process because like I said at the beginning, that makes it more fun. So the fans helped pick the list. Paul went to Topps with the list, got it approved. And then we have a pretty awesome gallery on Getty Images of licensed images that Topps has a license to and can buy. And so we picked from there. And I just think from the baseball card collector experience and what do fans want to see on cards? What if fans haven't seen on cards before? The Randy Johnson card has the glove over his face and his eyes are scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the action shot is double the size of the other action shots you see on the game within the game cards. And just trying to get that visceral emotional experience that you get when you look at those farm pitch paintings on your wall.
No, and that's the beauty is it takes us, like a song, a movie.
Yep.
It takes you back to when you were so many years old. I live right outside the Bay Area. About 2 months ago, I found out that the end scene in the movie The Goonies was filmed right outside San Francisco. I thought most of it was filmed in Oregon, if not all of it. And then, there's a YouTube video of all their shooting locations. And I'm like, whoa, buddy. I can drive 90 minutes and sit on the same rock that the entire cast sat on at the end of the movie. And all I've got to do is put gas in my car.
So how many times have you gone to it?
I haven't yet. I'm too excited. But just like that, 8 years old again, right?
Yep.
And that's the beauty of the hobby is you go through a dime box at the card show and you're pulling cards and why do you super collect the same player of the same card from 35 years ago? Because it brings you back to that moment. When I get that mail day, I'm 8 years old, 10 years old, all over again. And it connects us, whether, again, a song, a movie, a painting. And so that's really what these are. It's a connection to your team. And, the 2012 Oakland A's meant a lot to me as an adult. And to have a lot of cards from that team, that group of players. And, of course, we're all super collectors, whether it be Mattingly, McGuire, Clark, or Puckett. And, everybody out there listening has their own player or their own team, Or sport. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why do you collect this versus that? And it's so individualistic, even though you see so much negativity and we're always telling other people how to collect.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others.
Collect what you like. Yeah. That's what I tell everybody.
In theory, right?
Talking about Steph.
Right. I'm innocent.
Yeah. So we've glossed on cardart.com a little bit, but that was one of the main topics I wanted to discuss with you.
Yep.
That Steph and I wanted to bring you on to discuss the cardart.com. First off, where did it come from as far as the conceptual idea?
Sure.
What is it? If I go to cardart.com, what can I buy? And what price ranges am I looking at? So you just give us an overview
you'll see on the homepage, there's a lot of different types of cards, right? But they're all one-of-one collectible cards. The way it started was last year, Blake was doing his YouTube stream on a nightly basis, and he was painting cards, and people were going crazy about them because they were baseball cards that looked different than anybody had ever seen before.
I want to say 1023.
What's that?
Like 1023 live.
Yeah.
Well, 11 US time. Sure.
And so, you know, I was every night talking to no joke, like 100 plus people a night on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram DMs, finding out what people's like favorite players were and favorite teams were. And I would literally go through the box of cards, mail them a card of their favorite team. And it like meant so much to them because I took the time, I mailed it out to them, and then they got a card of their favorite team and were like displaying it. And then we took it from there, and we saw there were all these other artists that professional artists and amateur artists that COVID really brought them back to their first love of art, and they started making baseball cards. And so we have a lot of different artists on the site. I have some show and tell too. I could show you guys in a little bit, but
Sure.
probably 10 different artists that are making cards in a lot of different styles. We just released Andy Choi. He has a bunch of Star Wars cards that he drew on. That's the Emperor with Metallica. It looks really awesome in the dark. Saw this
Ride the Lightning and all.
This Jaws card on the website. Andy's drawing on cards. Mr. Shake is taking 5 or 6 cards and putting them together as one, and making
like that idea.
Really cool custom cards that, like, you can resell them if you want. You can, I've seen them resold on eBay, but I really want people to like display these cards in their house and show them to people that come over. Like, are you guys showing your baseball cards to people that come over?
I try
Probably
to.
not. Do you?
I try to. Nobody wants to see them, but I try.
Geeky and right, they think we're dorky. We don't want to show people those cards, but like, I want people to see these cards. Like California JJ did these cards, and like everybody might own. Like there might be thousands of people that own that Justin Hebert card, but one person is going to own that card that has like the gold frame on it. He made. Here's Todd Clark. He made a cool Bo Jackson alien card.
Alien, nice.
And I like to like. Here's like a cool Mickey Mantle from Dan Baumfeld.
Nice.
And I like to say these cards are like 1980s sports flicks where they look different from every angle that you look at them.
Yeah.
Like you can look at them on the website and they look cool, but they don't look as cool as when you get it in your hand and can actually like look at them and display them and show them to your friends.
No, a good friend, a good friend of Steph's as well, Mark Mosley, is an artist. I don't know if you're familiar with Mark, but phenomenal. And yeah. I was joking with him one time, and next thing I know, I get a package, and it's got like 8 different colored one-of-one McGuires of 1985, and I was missing one to fill out a 9-pocket page. And what's Heavy J's name, Steph?
Jason Schwartz.
Yes.
Jason, yep.
Sorry. He had one that Mark had given him, and he glittered it up and sent it to me. So now I've got the full pocket, or the full 9-pocket page full of the McGuires. And then Mark ended up drawing me a phenomenal gift. Drew me baseball cards of my children for my wife for Christmas last year. And it's the community is great. There's so many artists that are having so much fun with it. How many artists do you think are and you maybe have an exact figure? How many artists are affiliated with cardart.com?
Right now, we probably have about 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So like
everybody's bringing a different style. People are painting cards. People are putting together cards. They're drawing on their cards. This is Matt Burke. He's a craftsman, and he's putting wood borders on cards. And they look
okay. I will take an 87 really awesome. From him with an actual wood border.
Okay. I get an 87 Mattingly with the wood border. It's awesome.
No, okay.
Here's like a Ken Griffey with that same color, like wood border.
Ooh, that's awesome. That's sweet.
Yep.
So,
go ahead.
I'm an artist. I mean, Ben's not an artist, but I'm a hypothetical artist. I'm out there listening to the show, and I want to be involved and be a part of the cardart.com community. How would I go about becoming one of, let's make that number 11. Let's get it up to 20. Let's get it up to 50. How do I become the next artist?
I'm talking to artists every day, by phone, Twitter, chatting about being involved. every month we're trying to bring on 1 or 2 new artists. So, and then like our team of 10 artists, I'm having a call with them tomorrow to chat with them about like the path forward next year, and then, submitting more cards, just to like refurbish our stock.
No, that's awesome, because obviously that community is unique in and of itself. And you did get a shout out in the YouTube chat from Kevin W, saying that you're his nemesis and his hero at the same time. Good to see you, buddy. So Kevin says hi.
We need a hero. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't do the singing. If you listen, Tony, if you ever need a stick person artist, then Ben is an artist. I don't think it'll sell, but if you need some, I'm all right. I do really good stick figures and suns up in the corner. Before we get into the show, there is a question that we ask everybody, all of our first time guests and or co-hosts. If you could only own one card, what would it be?
A single solitary card.
Wait, it's a card that I own already, or a card that I don't own?
Yes.
Could be whatever.
It's like
open-ended question.
It's the 84 Topps Tiffany Don Mattingly rookie card. I have PSA 8, so I'd love a 10.
Nice.
But the 8 will do for now.
Yeah, I remember when I go ahead.
My favorite card is I always go to a card store auction. I missed the one tonight. But they had like card store auction at my local card store. There's like usually like 30 people, and there was an 89 glossy Fleer set one day, and I bid on it. It was like $40, and the Ken Griffey rookie was on the top, the Fleer glossy Ken Griffey, and I sent it to PSA, and it came back at 10, and so like it was like a $40 win, and it was like a couple $1,000 card that'll never sell. It's like one of my prized possessions, and it's just like such a cool story behind it, and it just like. I like it. Not for the money, man.
No, that's the beauty is, I got into it with Rich Klein last year at the height of the pandemic.
Number of things.
We're just going to talk about this one specific thing out of the millions. But, he got all on me when the McGuire Sosa dropped, and, the 87 McGuires went from 75 cents each to $6 each. And he's like, dude, you have a degree in economics. Sell. And it's that devil on the shoulder saying, yeah, dum-dum, sell at 6x. And then it's the collector on the other side say, hey, these are my babies.
Yeah.
These are mine. I love them all.
Yeah.
And, you get so much of this stuff from friends. Andrew has sent me so much. It's, Steph has sent me stuff. It's like, these are from my friends. These are mine. I don't want other people. I mean, I do want other people. I want more.
Spread the love.
Yeah, that theory
think about your loved ones that are gonna have to sell all this crap when you die,
and it's gonna probably be less than 75 cents.
You had like a little stamp collection, and you had like a Kincaid painting collection. They're still sitting downstairs, and like I don't know what to do with them. Like, what are our kids and our wives gonna do with our collections?
Yeah, a good buddy of mine, Jay McCarthy, here locally in the Sacramento area. His dad had a massive coin collection, and he kept a few pieces and sold the rest. And I haven't spoken to him in person in a while, but he was creating all the top sets dating all the way back, hopefully to 52. And at the time he was around 64 with partial sets prior to that. And I'm like, your kids aren't going to want these. What are they going to do? He goes, well, like Dad's coin collection, they can sell my card collection for whatever interests them. And I'm like, or you can leave them to your dear friend Ben. So
sign them.
Yeah. We're all caretakers. We're just here for a while on Earth, and all of this stuff is going to move into somebody else's hands eventually. So, was there anything else before we move on to the show, Tony, that you want to cover with card art? I know it's important for you, and I don't want to.
Just check out cardart.com. We have one-of-one cards, baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, entertainment and culture cards. Hope you check it out. And I'm Bikini23 on Twitter and Instagram.
So like Anthony A.
B-I.
I'm just guessing here.
Yeah.
Last name 23.
Yep.
That's Twitter. We'll have both of those in the description down below too.
One last follow-up. If I want to go on and commission one of the artists to do a piece for me, or there are other artists like Ken Carl, who we've had on the show before, that does commission pieces. Is there a way for me to go on there and choose an artist?
Not currently. We're not doing card art by the mail currently, but definitely we have a contact button on there, so definitely reach out to me that way.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of listeners would love to go out there, like with Ken, and say, "Hey, I need one of those wood border 87s."
Yeah,
and I need it in my particular player, whoever it is, BJ Surhoff, perhaps.
Yep.
So no, that's awesome, Tony. You're welcome to stay with us for as long as I know you're on the East Coast. Yep. If you want to stay the entire show, you're welcome. If you've got to go get some sweet dreams here pretty quick, that's fine too. Just give us a heads up. We're going to hop into the show. This just in listener mail day /pulls. This week's feature courtesy of a guy Junk Wax Twins. Steph busted some Fleer metal this week, and so we want to see what he got.
I did do some Fleer metal, and I also love the set. But prior to the show, we found some foosball Prism. So I'll share both of those, as well as an allure update from previous week, whatever. But starting, as you led me off, with Fleer Metal, check out these inserts. Net deposits. So it has the player shooting, and then it has kind of a Fleer, very, very 90s Fleer Metal retro appearance to it. And unfortunately, of the two blasters that I broke, I got both of the Canucks. Not that they're bad players. Elias Pettersson is due a huge pay raise right now. One that I kind of liked, a throwback to the 90s, the goalie masks, Intimidation Nation. Really cool effect. I think these are like one a blaster as well. And then one per pack, you get a blue parallel. And I got the Wild's Young Russian Star, Kirill Kaprizov.
Nice.
In blue. Not the regular one, so that stinks. On the lookout for that still. But for Allure, I've previously shown that they had a tiger. Sorry, they're not the Prism. They are the leopard print, orange and black for Allure. But the Walmart parallel, one per pack, is the NHL logo. Which is kind of cool. And then I guess Canada has a yellow taxi, what they call a yellow taxi version. Haven't seen those. Not in Canada, I can't tell you.
That orange and black parallel look pretty nice with the Flyers.
Right. And then for Prism, a preview of sorts for Dub. His Georgia boys, DeAndre Swift, in Silver Prism, Green Prism, and the two highlights. If you will, the base card, Trevor Lawrence, and a on-campus Chuba Hubbard, which looks nicer in hand than this camera is giving.
That's the coolest looking one you got right there.
Right?
Is that a common insert? Unlike
I do not think so.
I think that's like the downtown version.
That's my understanding as well.
So it's a pretty good pull then. It's what I was getting at because
it is from a single blaster. So it's Panini. They don't give odds, but I would assume that it's a rarer pull, similar to Downtown and the Kabooms and the whatnots. So it's a great pull.
Yeah, and obviously we talked about the Downtown. That's some great art too, Tony. What are your thoughts, real quick, on the Downtowns comparative to some of the awesome stuff you've shown and you've seen over the last year?
Can you show me that again?
Sure.
I mean, I don't collect too many. I collect a lot of baseball cards.
Sure.
Like outside of I think I collected a little bit of hockey last year, trying to get some Rangers. But out of that, like baseball cards are my thing.
I get it. It's funny you mention Rangers.
Love the Rangers. Growing up in like the '90s in New York, watching the Rangers.
No, those are fun. Those are fun inserts, and it's good artwork. And it's for people that are casual fans, perhaps it's unfortunate that they're so expensive because if they were a much more common insert, I think they'd be extreme. I mean, they're popular now, but I think they'd be extremely popular. And then real quick, I got a couple of cool cards today from Matt McNeil at 1986 Astros, a Bowman Chrome Fingers out of 25, and a French back from Heritage of Chris Bassett. So I appreciate that, Matt. Please feel free to share with About the Cards your recent awesome mail days or polls. You can tag at About the Cards on Twitter with pictures or a video, preferably under 60 seconds. Please keep those G-rated. If you do submit one, use hashtag About the Cards Mail Day, and we'll do our best to feature your cards on an upcoming episode. Tony, did you have something you got
some
pretty
more cool cards to show, right?
Shoot,
So
yeah, let's do it.
These are David Garcia
Your
from
button.
Garcia Studios.
Yep.
So they look like regular cards.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Oh, I love the metal cards.
Speaking
They're
of
awesome.
metal,
Yep. So we got LaMelo, Mike Trout, Bo Bichette.
I need one of those in Mark McGuire immediately.
Yep. Got Alex Morgan. So a few different ones. And like, I haven't seen metal cards before. Maybe they've come out, but I haven't seen any metal
there
type of
is
cards.
a Leaf set from the late 90s, but it's not too often.
Yep.
Like Steel
All right.
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are
Leaf
awesome.
Certified steel, I think. Preferred.
I like the diversity as well, that it's not just there's that conversation, right? Hey, I'm gonna send you a free card. Cool. I PC Jordan and Trout and Otani, and you go down the list of the 12 names. I love when people collect something like who? Why would you collect that? There's a great thing, way off topic, kind of sort of on topic. Ivan with Go GTS at Watch the Breaks had said Ben would love this. Apparently, a collector was going back and forth on a card out of 5. Super expensive. It was like $75, way more. He's like, I offered him 50. No. He dropped the card eventually to 30. I said 15. He said no. The seller puts it at auction, and the guy wins it for. He literally said, "I'm your only buyer." Seller puts it at auction, and he ends up winning it for $1.25. And I'm just like, that's beautiful. I so many great stories of sellers that just think that everything is worth something, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's getting into the hands of the right collector, and sometimes I'm that collector, you're that collector, and
exactly,
and so yeah, that's really neat. So it's nice to see some of those artists doing things that.
That's definitely something I've learned over the last year. You have to find that one collector that can afford to buy that painting, and then not everybody can afford to buy that painting, and it's hard to find out where that collector is. And
sure,
there's a lot of people in Facebook groups, and people collect, like I said, different teams, different players, and so it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to see the diversity of players like Alex Morgan. That she probably doesn't have as much representation, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but she doesn't have as much as, say, an Otani or a Tatis right now.
Yeah.
And of course, the next football class of quarterbacks. So it's nice to see some of your artists on cardart.com doing something else. Some of the other stars of other sports that are just.
I mean, we've had a handful of Mike Trout cards and a handful of like some other popular players, but I want like it to be unique and different and one of one. Like, I'm not having artists make the same card. Like, if you get a card from cardart.com, there's not going to be another card like it ever made.
Yeah. That's awesome. Especially, again, when it's underrepresented. Steph's got a big collection of Wayne Nordhagen. And it's because they were born in this. Yeah. Baseball player from the 70s, early 80s?
78, well, minor leagues, but he wrapped up his career in 83, unless you count the senior pro league.
It's hardcore.
Born in the same city. Literally, Steph there's Mama Nordhagen, and then there's Steph. Those are the only two people that collect good old Wayne.
His nephew, Kevin Millar. So
there's 3. I stand corrected. Stand corrected. There are 3. All right. So hey, shoot us mail days if you got some. We always love seeing good cards, even if they don't make it on the show. We love seeing them anyway. The week that was last week's releases: Topps Living Week 186, card 453, Patrick Wisdom, third baseman of the Cubs, sold 1,547, and card 454, Jonah Heim, catcher, rookie card of the Rangers, sold 1,613. Major releases, and if these got pushed back, I do apologize, but what we had slated to release last week, and based on what I saw, Panini Obsidian Basketball, Panini Spectra Baseball, Panini Chronicles Draft Picks Basketball all came out on the 29th. And on Friday the 1st, I had 2021 Bowman Sterling Baseball, 2021 Topps Gold Label Baseball, and 2021 Pro Metal Football. Hot off the presses this week, Topps Living Week 187. Card 455, Colton Wong, second baseman of the Brewers by Jared Kelly. He is the first Brewer since last December per at Cardboard Stats on Twitter. And then card 456, Garrett Whitlock, pitcher of the Red Sox. Congratulations to the Red Sox for beating the Yankees last night.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm a Twins fan. You're not going to hear any sympathy votes from me about losing in the playoffs.
All right. And then I've got a couple. Andrew, maybe you can help on who the heck these people are. But Topps Living Star Wars, available through next Tuesday. Card 245, Bultar Swan from Attack of the Clones. And card 246, Derek Hobby Clivia from The Empire Strikes Back. I think he was a Rebel pilot.
So maybe
I think was he the guy who piloted the snowspeeder with Luke in the beginning?
I believe so. The one who gets
perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the first guy is based on the name, or first woman, excuse me.
Baltar Swan?
Attack of the Clones, so not as
was
popular.
A Jedi in the Battle of Geonosis, I want to say then.
Look at you knowing everybody in the Star Wars canon. Nice.
Just the movies. I could be completely wrong on that too, but I think that's where.
God damn it! It sounded good. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
just run with it.
Have conviction.
Yeah, hey, that sounds good. Yeah, oh yeah, good old Derek was on the thing with the good old Luke.
The Star Wars people, they'll fact check you, so I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna say I'm right on that one.
Hey, interesting fact, Andrew. Before Star Wars: A New Hope came out, Mark Hamill had never seen a Star Wars movie.
I did know that, in fact.
See, and when Ben does these things, we just go.
Yep.
His internet dropped.
And then he comes back.
And then I come back. All right. So you got to throw dad jokes in there once in a while. Also releasing this week, Topps Sports Illustrated, available through next Tuesday. This is week 30 of 35. Card 59, Joe Carter of the Blue Jays from 1993, honoring the World Series championship from 93 on the cover.
Sure.
And the card 60, Dave Winfield of the Yankees from 2001, which is kind of interesting that he was on Sports Illustrated that late. I'm not sure. Did he play all the way into 2001?
Willing to bet that's probably the year he was elected into the Hall.
Can you put Tony on the screen?
Okay.
I got one more. Sorry.
As soon as
he wants to show us the Randy.
Yeah, before I go, here's the Randy.
Oh,
by Paul Jennings. That's out on Friday.
That's pretty
very
slick.
Nice.
It's sick.
So if you are watching, that releases this Friday, the 8th, and it'll run for 3 weeks at $7.99.
10 a.m.
Okay.
That's a nice Mariners photo. I love it.
I do like that.
He looks very scary in both pictures.
As he was.
Yeah, it's great for player collectors because it represents two teams that obviously he played for other teams, of course, but synonymous with both the Mariners and of course the Diamondbacks, where he got the World Series. So I don't think a whole lot of people are probably collecting him as a San Francisco Giant, but that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool.
Sure thing. Yeah. So many people, like you just said, like so many people are reaching out to me like, I wish he was on the Mariners in this picture, and the Diamondbacks he should be in blue, and then like before what you were saying about Pujols, he has to be on the Cardinals, and people are saying, well, he should be on the Dodgers and the Angels too, and I'm like, don't want to make anybody mad.
And that's the thing, yeah. No,
this is the internet. Everybody's mad.
We love to complain.
He's not wrong.
We love to complain, yeah. But we appreciate you showing us that. That's really neat. So if you're a Randy Johnson fan, or a Mariner collector, or a Diamondback collector, you have something to look forward to this Friday. So
I think
if you're the Diamondback collector, because there's only one of them.
Topps
probably
just screwed up because this was issued in 81. It even mentions on the back 81.
Nice. So we'll have to see if that actually gets printed that way with the 2001. I don't have the show notes from last week handy. I wonder if maybe it was somebody from last week was featured from 2001.
How about
Probably.
that? That's interesting.
That happens sometimes. We had Ernie Banks, A's pitcher legend, in Turn Back the Clock because they didn't change the back. So front was Ernie Banks coming out tomorrow, and then you turn over on the back, it shows him as a pitcher for the Oakland A's, and it's like, so you do get that quite a bit when they change the graphics. Not everything makes the change, which led, of course, to that Paul Lesko lawsuit some years ago when John Harrison, not Josh Harrison, was on the card, and he bought it because it was an error. And of course, now there's a disclaimer on there that says
it's funny that Topps screwed up Dave Winfield, and we were just talking about teams that he probably should have been featured more so on. So probably about 15, 16 years ago at this point, Subway and the Little League organizations teamed up to have some of the Little League World Series kids decorate some things and hold them up for auction. And one of the things they had was a Dave Winfield signed ball that we won for about $200-300 birthday present. I am holding the signature upside down, but so in this case, prominently featured is his some kid decorated a Dave Winfield ball with a lot of Yankees and baseball, and even kind of like a little Dave Winfield pirate-y figure there, but in that he's a twin, and sits in my collection. And it was
that's awesome.
Nice charity to go to, and it just looks cool.
Of course, Dave Winfield also is getting a lot of run on the old Twitter lately because of his multi-sport ability. And when everybody's like, well, Ohtani this and Ohtani that is incredible. And people are like, well, yeah, you had Bo Jackson, and then you had Dave Winfield, who was incredible and drafted in 3 separate sports and could have been the Bo Jackson or even perhaps the Shohei Ohtani prior to them had he been allowed. But he chose baseball over football and basketball.
The Atlanta Hawks of the NBA, the Utah Stars of the ABA, the Vikings in the 17th round, and the Padres in baseball.
Nice. He was a tight end and a power forward in those sports, if I'm not mistaken, is how he was drafted. But so Winfield's name has made his rounds in recent days just because of the Guerrero versus Ohtani AL MVP discussions. So he was definitely a phenomenal athlete, and all of us were a little too young to really appreciate his career because by the time we came along,
not me.
You can't be that much older than me, right? You got to be late 30s, early 40s, right?
43.
Yeah, okay, so I'm 42, so yeah, same age. Yeah, but by the time you come around to 87, 88 and really...
Well, he was on the Yankees then, so I got to watch him on the Yankees.
You did. You get to see he and Mattingly and the fact that they couldn't get
Ricky
to the playoffs.
Henderson.
Couldn't keep Billy Martin hired.
Yeah, well, that was drinking.
And
infamous bird incidents.
Yeah.
Pre-Randy Johnson bird incidents.
So also releasing this week is the Topps Throwback Thursday. This is only available through tomorrow morning. This is set 39, featuring the 1986-87 hockey design. This is the 3rd week of this design. The only card that was showing was card 115, Aaron Nola. Also this week was 116 Shohei Ohtani featuring short print variations, and 117 Tony Gwynn. Unless they've updated it, there aren't images of the Ohtani and Gwynn currently up there, but obviously we know what team they will be featured with, so that's at least helpful there.
I ordered that when Mattingly was out, and got a 10 out of 10 Mattingly blue one. It was
fancy.
The best smell day ever.
Nice. Nice.
Could have been the number to 5.
This set, we curious to know if the Ohtani and the Gwynn are also tipping their cap, because it was pointed out to us last week that the first 6 were all tipping their cap, and Nola is as well. So 7 out of the 9 confirmed. It'd be interesting. I'm assuming that they are as well, but to be determined. Major releases coming out this week. 2021 Panini Donruss Optic Baseball dropped today at a retail price of $184.95. 20 packs a box, 4 cards a pack. You're supposed to get 2 autos, 10 prisms, 20 inserts. So have some fun with that. Optic should be a parallel within the base. There's no reason to have these as separate, but hey, whatever. I don't work for Panini, and that's just the way that is. 2021 Panini Origins Football also releasing today at a price point of $599.95. Product highlights are 1 pack, 7 cards a pack, or $85.70 per card, or approximately 7.79 extra value mils per card. 2 autos, including 1 RPA. You're supposed to get 1 jumbo or patch mem. You should get 2 base or rookies and 2 base parallels. This release really equals you either get a quarterback RPA or you don't at that price point. So, Andrew, you opening up either of those?
Donruss Optic, yes. No, I didn't get enough Origins to break it.
Gotcha. High-end product. Again, Origins is perfect for buy what you want on the secondary after somebody else buys it, or grab your favorite team or player, depending on how breaks are designed with your favorite breaker. Try to grab your favorite players and teams that way instead. Rather large gamble at $85+ a card. So the other big one coming out this week is 2021 Panini Chronicles UFC. Also releasing today. It comes in at $699.95. 6 packs in a box, 8 cards in a pack. You should get 2 autos. Andrew, does this secondary market really carry this kind of rate of return? I mean, if you're looking at not a whole ton of cards, around 40 cards, $700.
I know absolutely nothing about UFC, both cards and in general. So the only thing I can tell you is that the people who want this stuff really want it. I know that there is a very dedicated fan base out there for the UFC.
Gotcha. Yeah, Mojo Break, on our shows.
No way people are opening a $700 box.
Yeah, this is
ridiculous.
Right.
This is probably just for breakers, really. You would think that you're going to go in there and get whatever, random weight class, because I think that's usually how they do their breaks, by weight.
Gotcha.
And I've seen Mojo Break open quite a few of that, and I imagine that's what this is designed for. I don't think any of us are running out there, even as a UFC fan, grab a whole box and get.
I mean, even the $190 Donruss Optic box, I'm not buying that box. Right? As a fan,
you're not wrong.
What am I going to get out of that box that's going to be worth that money if I want to sell it? I don't want to sell it, but you know what? I'm going to collect those cards and put them in my binders. All those angling cards are in binders, by the way. I'm going to put them in my binders and never look at them again. And I just spent $190 and maybe got an auto that is for a half crappy player.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Single fan, I think.
I don't think it's the us of the world, so to speak, that are buying them. I really think, nowadays everything is designed for breakers. A couple things releasing this week. Also, we have 2021 Bowman Chrome X, which is a Montgomery Club exclusive, which dropped yesterday. According to a tweet from Ivan at Watch the Breaks. I believe it was Ivan, maybe it wasn't.
I saw Crack and Wax talking about it in his Discord group.
I think it was Ron Bartley at End Green Room, who I had actually linked to the show notes, and just the price point seems fairly cost prohibitive to the point where a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm out. But at the same time, it's sold out. So there's that
and these
too.
Are encased, not graded.
Yeah, and I think all of the cards are under 31, if I remember, because I made a joke to Ivan, paraphrasing a quote from The Office that went over his head, and so he answered it as if I was legitimately asking. And it was actually really good information if you didn't know the product. I mean, good for him sharing that information. And so I retweeted that like, hey, I was joking, but hey, there's the information if you're in. I do think, from what I gathered, a lot of bots probably grabbed this product. So we will see what the secondary holds and whether or not there's any fluid movement.
That doesn't happen.
I know. That was so last year. And then 2021 Topps RIP, another Montgomery Club exclusive too this week, drops tomorrow. That was something that came across the late Twitter timeline today. Seems like all of the Montgomery Club, it was like Topps forgot about it, and they're like, shoot, we got to get 8 products out in October.
That one was announced back in September, and it just was getting delayed, is my understanding.
Gotcha. Did you need to take off, Tony?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. It's after midnight on the East Coast, but I really enjoyed it, guys. Enjoyed meeting you and chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have you on again soon.
Remind everyone where we can find you.
Sure. So cardart.com on the web. We're also on Facebook, and then AB and Keeney 23 on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, absolutely. Check out cardart.com. Tony, we appreciate your time this evening, and we'll have you on.
Definitely. Thanks for hopping on.
Take care, guys.
Boy.
All right. That was Tony B. on Keeney. We appreciate his time this evening. He's on the East Coast, so it is late. And then one last release this week. There are a slew of Pokemon Celebration releases, tins, and multiple special collection releases. So if you collect Pokemon, go check out what is coming out, because there were like 7 or 8 of them, if I'm not mistaken. All scheduled release dates are subject to change, but we're current as of this morning. MSRP pricing and product details were gathered from blowout cards and are subject to change. You can always check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these new releases. What's brewing next week? 2021 Panini Donruss Optic Basketball drops on the 13th. Rittenhouse Women of Star Trek Art and Images comes out on October 13th. And then next Friday is 2021 Leaf Ultimate Sports. The 2021
Friday, is it? No, it's Wednesday.
On the 15th?
No, the 10/13. It's my best cousin, my favorite cousin's birthday as well. But we always crack jokes when it happens to land on a Friday in October.
Okay.
The 13th, Friday.
And then next Friday, the 15th, we have 2021 Leaf Ultimate Sports, the 2021 Panini Donruss Football Factory Set, and 2021 Topps WWE Chrome. And then the big one, slated for Wednesday, October 13th, Topps Update, has been pushed back, according to everything I saw, from 10/13, 2 weeks to 10/27. So it'll be at the end of the month. And then I saw somebody cracked a joke that, hey, Topps Update is not allowed to come out this year before Topps Big League Baseball, which, cue the RIP music, because it ain't coming out this year. Sorry, guys. So that brings us to the Infield Chatter Hobby Talk section.
And
topic 1.
Have a quick insert. In memoriam, rest in peace to Texas boy, long time. Vintage guys will recognize him, but 4-time All-Star with the Browns, Indians, Senators, Yankees, etc. Several teams. He was the last Indian World Series winner to be alive as well. He was the oldest Major League Baseball player to be alive before he passed away just recently, I think Monday. Met him in person. Do have a signed ball with 4-time All-Star inscription. This show wants to pass along a good wishes and rest in peace to him and his family. To Eddie Robinson.
I was going to say, did you say his name? Also former Philadelphia Athletic.
Brent wanted to say it, but
we were getting there. We were just so yes, rest in peace. Losing the longest or oldest living member of anything. I mean, that's always kind of a neat honor to have.
I want to say 2 months shy of being 101.
Wow.
Oh.
So we should all be as lucky. I think he was also the GM for the Rangers for a few years, 76 to 82. So he's the person that at one of Rich's. Sorry, dropped something. 2 seconds.
That's good. That's good radio.
It is very much so. No dead air. He was also the person that at one of Rich's bet shows shows up wearing a Twins World Series ring, and apparently he was a assistant GM or trainer, scout. And let me see it. Hold it. Really impressive. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So yes, obviously, thoughts and prayers go to his family. Sounds like he lived an awesome life, and at least on the surface. So we should all be so lucky. So it's that time of the year again, Steph, but only for a few more years via Topps. Topps put out their survey to vote for the 2022 flagship card number 1. Voting closed tonight at 8:59 Pacific while we were going through last week's releases, in fact. So my first thought is, who cares? But guys, did you vote?
Yep.
I've yet to vote, but I will.
You can't vote anymore. You can't vote. I just said it closed 9 minutes ago.
Eastern. Pooh. I thought it was Central.
No, so yeah, it closed at 9/12. So Andrew, what was your thought? I don't have a complete list of who was on it. It was the usual suspects, the popular players.
I think I voted for Posey, hometown, and I think I had to vote for Shohei. I mean, I don't know really how you couldn't vote for Shohei this year. It was his year. They said you can vote for up to 3 per league. I only voted for 1 just because I didn't want to give anyone else another chance. It was weird how they did it, though, where it was like 3 per league. It's like, well, there's only 1 card number 1, so
yeah,
who cares what league they're in?
Referencing a Sports Cards Daily article by Rich Mueller. The last 5 players featured include Fernando Tatis, Mike Trout, Acuna Jr., Aaron Judge, and Chris Bryant, and the selectable players from the American National League: Jose Abreu, Ronald Acuna Jr. again, Jose Altuve, Nolan Arenado, Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Miguel Cabrera, Jacob deGrom, Wander Franco, Freddie Freeman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Jared Kelenic, Shohei Ohtani, Buster Posey, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., Mike Trout, and Joey Votto.
Yeah, I think I voted for like Tatis and deGrom, because obviously deGrom is an amazing pitcher. And then like in the American League, I voted for Trout, Ohtani, and Guerrero. I mean, it's a popularity contest. If you want to have a fun read, go to Topps on Twitter and just scroll through the entire tweet. We don't have enough time to read them all, but you got, hey, vote for number 1. People are responding like, hey, where's Big League Baseball? Hey, what about my redemptions? I'm not voting because you're only let me have 12 guys, and it's always the same 12 guys, and my team's not represented. And there were a lot of, hey, you got 3 minutes by the water cooler to kill, and you want a fun time. There was some fun responses that had absolutely nothing to do, for the most part, with card number 1.
Of the options, I probably would have chosen Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, and Shohei. Submitted a blank entry for the rest.
But again, it should be whoever wins the World Series this year.
Yep.
So the Giants.
Always. If it is, card number 1 should be the Giants. I mean, and then you should have cards 2 through 10 be all of your MVPs and your womp womp. I mean, it is fun watching Dallas Cowboy fans cry, but the only thing that's more delicious than that is watching Yankee fans cry. Usually it's the same fans because but at least they always have the Lakers, so there's that. So speaking of Topps
basketball,
that's right. Speaking of Topps, a shoe has dropped, but it's not Cinderella's, or is it? According to Ryan Cracknell, he released an article just before the show tonight, a little bit earlier, a few hours ago, Topps has acquired the license to produce the Nippon Professional Baseball, or NPB, cards. Steph, you want to read the article real quick? It wasn't very long.
Sure do. No, it's not. So Topps is looking at some overseas expansion. They've landed a card license with Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball. Under the deal, Topps will release several 2021 NPB baseball card products in Japan starting later in the year. We have been actively pursuing the NPB as a way to better serve baseball and sports fans in Japan and beyond, said David Lehner, Topps Global General Manager, Sports and Entertainment. Marks the first time that Topps is producing NPB baseball cards covering the entire league and all of its teams. Deal comes off the heels of the card maker opening a Tokyo office earlier in 2021. Topps also recently launched a Japanese section of their website. Sure did. Look at that.
So what are your guys' thoughts as it pertains to Topps if they don't get acquired? If Topps is a standalone company come 2026, they got their confectionery. As far as the hobby goes, they've got NPB and Garbage Pail and other properties, WWE and whatnot. Star Wars, they have other properties, but now they've got baseball cards, just Japanese league. What are your guys' thoughts, assuming Topps is a standalone company moving forward?
Well, the MPB is, they call it essentially quad A baseball, where it's a step above AAA, step below the big leagues. So, I mean, they have some players there, and, it's interesting because you almost got to kind of treat it like a Bowman type set, because a lot of these guys, when they get big, they'll come over to the US, and this will be their first card produced now. It won't be a first Bowman. It won't be their rookie card. This is the first card. So it has a way to keep Topps in the game, in that you still want to buy a Topps card. Now, the one thing that did concern me on that press release is they said they're going to release them in Japan. I didn't hear anything about distribution here over in the US, and I don't know if that was just left out or done on purpose.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I mean, I know when we were in Japan, Upper Deck had done a few based on the NPB leagues, and as it were, ended up with a few Dice K cards before he became huge in the US. But I also noted that it didn't mention any US distribution, and maybe it's just marketing to where they think it's going to sell most. But is KPB next? Korean Professional Baseball League?
Yeah, the KBO is popular. Yeah, in Korea. Not taking anything away from them or Nippon. I just don't see this moving the needle much with domestic collectors. Obviously in the European markets and the Asian markets, I imagine. Yeah, I mean you'll have geographic spots that might collect this, but overall, it replaces some of the revenue stream that they're going to lose.
Sure.
I just don't know that it's enough to save them, and we don't know what all of their profit and loss looks like either. So it's not like we can sit there and dissect what they're losing this and replacing it with this, and what it's going to look like when it comes out of the back end, out of the wash. So, but it's interesting, and it dropped just today, so we don't know anything about it.
Well, not exactly. I mean, this isn't going to be a seller for Jim Bob in Indiana that's chasing football stuff that might occasionally open a baseball box. But if marketed right, and maybe the marketing, the terms and conditions of the deal are more beneficial to Topps than print away. As well.
I mean, and there's a little bit of almost some parallel here between this and what we've seen with the soccer the past few years, where you have over in Europe, you have the Champions League, but you also have the English League, the German League, the Spanish League, the Italian League, the French League. And there was this run on getting all these licenses between Topps and Panini, to where Topps had the German League and the Champions League, but Panini got the Italian leagues, the French, the English, and the Spanish. So I'm wondering now, is Topps kind of looking at it like that, as, hey, we're going to try and get all of these different leagues while we can. And then with the hopes that we're getting him on the cheap. You know, maybe another Otani comes around, and you're the one sitting there with his license, with his original cards. Now you kind of hold a little bit of leverage over the MLBPA, over Fanatics, before he even gets to your league. You're the one holding his licenses in the beginning, and maybe you sign him to that exclusive license while he's in the MPB. And depending on how the contract is written, maybe when he comes over to the MLB, he can't have a card because he is previously signed to the MPB for how many years?
Yeah, I think to that point,
the contract.
I think it would affect a very small amount of individuals,
Right.
players, but it's interesting. And, kind of a rhetorical question, is it going to increase the market worth of Topps if an acquisition were to take place? Marginal, probably not significant, but it's just another thing that perhaps Fanatics would be acquiring. And so it's to be determined. There's not a lot of information out other than what Ryan, that's the only thing I saw before, dinner time and let's get ready for the show. So we might have some more information on it in the upcoming weeks as a little bit more starts to develop.
I plan to maybe take a trip to Japan in the next year or two anyway. So if we go, because I didn't see much when I went a few years ago. So if we go again, I'm definitely going to try and grab every single pack that I can find.
Which part of Japan are you looking at? Looking at Osaka or Tokyo or rural?
Probably Tokyo to see my Giants.
Makes sense.
And for those that are listening and not watching, Andrew hopped on last minute just in case Steph's internet wasn't working. Did not know the show notes, did not see them, but was randomly wearing a Tokyo Giants t-shirt. So that was kind of apropos and coincidental and kind of funny. So it's just the randomness. But Steph wants to send me on vacation to Las Vegas via Ryan Cracknell at Trader Cracks. Mint Collective is doing something at a hotel in Vegas in January where they're going to try to fill people's heads with lies. Let me start over. I mean, they're hosting an event where love of collecting meets investing strategies. Profits are celebrated as alternative assets. Have no idea who the hell Mint Collective is, but now we can insert our laughing GIF here. Steph thinks I should go.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy some free time in Las Vegas.
My question is, how long would I be there before I get kicked out? Or is there already a picture filed with security desk like, if you see this guy, do not let him in?
Would you be getting kicked out for counting cards, or?
I'd be getting kicked out for laughing at them every time they use the investing word erroneously. So anyway, we're not going to spend any time on that. It's just kind of funny because Steph's like, hey, you should go. And I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I read about it. And I'm like, you son of a gun. And then I thought about it some more. I'm like, oh, that could be fun. You son of a bitch. I'm in. Let's do it. So anyway, this is a big deal. There was $8 trillion in NFT theft at Act Normal or Else. This tweet was not directed at the hobby, but since Topps is currently selling Series 2 NFTs at the moment, of course, we still have Top Shot. The tweeter claims to have stolen upwards of $8 trillion in NFTs by right-clicking on an image and clicking Save. What an impressive stolen collection. And if you want an $8 trillion collection, you could probably misappropriate hers as well by using the good old right-click and Save. Come on, can we stop with the digital nonsense? It's literally, you're buying nothing. It's not something you can have and hold and cherish from this day forward. It's a myth. So anyway, it was just kind of funny. Steph shared that. I thought, with all the NFTs and the LA Dodgers just walked off the Cardinals. Chris Taylor.
Damn.
Chris Taylor hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth off of Alex Reyes. The Dodgers move on. So
I don't like either team necessarily, but
it really was the 0-2 World Series for me. I called Andrew and said, hey, you want to come on tonight? He goes, I said, what are you doing? He goes, watching the Cardinals Dodgers. And I'm like, it's like the World Series when the Angels and Giants were in it. It's like, can both teams lose?
I mean, if I'm going to throw any allegiance, my first MLB game was at a Cardinals game.
Well,
Something.
Pujols is vindicated or not, but gets to win against his legacy team. So, All right. So this was damn impressive. If you haven't seen this, this is awesome, Andrew. You're going to like this. Was this how the pyramids were built? Via Bebe 408SJ says that this picture was borrowed from Offer Up. This is some impressive stacking skills. If you have not seen this, please go. If you're listening, go to @BEBE408SJ. They've got stacks, probably 40 stacks of cards? Got to be 200 cards high.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 24 by probably 5 deep in parts.
If it's all the way across, because they've got a so you're looking at a lot of cards, and we try our best to stack cards, and whoever stacked these, I mean, it looks like a machine.
Okay, but about 30 from the top is slightly sticking out.
Oh, nah, you can Photoshop that out.
Slightly curves over there. No, I need to invite them over to my place to help. Wrong button. Help redecorate the home office.
Somebody had way too much time on their hands. It was probably a kid that had way too much time on their hands, and a parent's like, "Hey, here's your punishment. You want to be excused? You can stack these as nice and perfect as you can."
Well, and so that's one of the things that I guess the military instilled on my dad, that everything has to be neat and orderly. Otherwise, it's absolute chaos. On this very desk, before I took over it for work, he would have magazines all right along the right edge. And me and Mom would occasionally come up here and just slightly move the third or fourth one in, just 10 degrees off. So like all of them are right in line, corked, in line. But that's what you do as a family. You laugh and pick on each other at the same time. Memories.
That's what the beauty of it is, right?
He got it back in other ways. So. Yeah.
So, question posed by @Reds Card Shop. You can find them at Reds_Card Shop on Twitter. Is PSA still the standard of grading? They posted 2 pictures. The 2016 Bowman Chrome Superfractor Juan Soto Mint 9 from BGS was apparently cracked. The auto streak at the tail end of Soto's auto was wiped, resubbed to PSA, and then got a 10 despite clearly being altered. How is it possible that we can trust this process when it inherently affects the secondary pricing on raw versus graded?
So a 9.9 looks like 9.5 centering, 9.5 corners. 8.5 corners. Sorry, it's really blurry. 9.5 surface, 9 centering, averages out to a 9.
Obviously, centering is a superfractor.
And then PSA said it's Gem 10 with not as long of a signature.
So if you're not watching, if you're listening, when Juan signed it, his J, the line goes underneath the U, the A, and the N. It went all the way to the corner or the edge of the card, and it started to. It fades pretty significantly, almost like Bryce Harper's original, early day auto. And then whoever cracked it wiped it off to where the line on the J almost ends just beyond the N, leaving a good.
O in Soto.
Yeah, right above the O in Soto. So there's a good, half an inch or so.
Can you imagine
half inch or so that looks like it got wiped off?
Can you imagine having the balls to take the Juan Soto first Bowman Superfractor and actually try and do this? Unbelievable that the guy that the person would even think about doing this.
The crazy thing is PSA now PSA now has it as a 10, so it increased the value considerably. At least in theory, right? I mean, if people are aware of this,
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned an upstart forensic card grading a few weeks back and not knowing a lot about them. I mentioned something in their Facebook group about a few concerns that were raised to me personally on my DMs after we mentioned it on the show. And the owner, Matt Schwartz, reached out to me. I actually called him on my way home tonight and could not connect with him, but see if we can get him on the show and he can present his company to everybody out there and let you know what FCG is as an alternate. But I think Steph, if correct me if I'm wrong, but when we had Dr. Beckett on, wasn't he talking about the reputation? Is it better to have no reputation at all, like FCG, or maybe a questionable reputation like PSA in this case, PWCC, Probstein, because at least there's brand awareness, there's name awareness, even if it's not 100% positive.
Well, I mean, that's what they say in show business, and any news is good news. But I personally go with the people that have good publicity over people that aren't hiding in the shadows, making shady deals or shrewd business deals or whatnot. But that's just me.
Well, eBay seller
That's why I
has
haven't graded anything.
eBay seller has 100% feedback, but only has 5 feedback. Or you have a seller that has 40,000 feedback, but they're at 99.6%.
40,000.
Sure.
Yeah. PSA's got the name recognition. It's going to be the king until Fanatics has something in house that knocks it off. It's, takes a leg out from under it.
I also heard another one that PSA did where I don't know if it was a basketball or a football auto, where originally the auto had like a streak in it, like it didn't get full ink in, and someone had filled in the autograph and re-cracked it and submitted it, and PSA didn't say anything about that as well.
Because they're hiring unqualified graders from Indeed.com. And that's the way it is. I mean, we literally talked about that a long time ago. It was PSA or BGS, one of them or both of them. Hey, we're looking for card graders, and you're posting it next to, truck drivers and restaurant workers and office workers. And it's like, Indeed.com is a great place to find a job for a lot of industries, but not for something like card graders. Literally needs to be a headhunter. There are a lot of us in this hobby that have no business being card graders. We're just not qualified in that sense. But on the other aspect, we're all qualified because we all have eyes. And so much of it is subjective that, the only difference is they work for a company that is slabbing it and assigning it the grade, and we're not. But hey, it's just another thing. And with such a significant card, maybe an iconic card, because, I mean, the Juan Soto, Ted Williams comparisons are not going away anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And if that kid stays healthy for the next 15 years, oh my goodness. I mean, we might see the likes of a career we haven't seen in some time. And that's including all of the great players that we have currently. The Tatises and Guerreros that are in his same age range, and the Trouts and Harpers that are a decade older. And then a guy like Ohtani that, is a once in a generational player. And then the greats that came right before him in the Pujolses, Cabreras, and Ichiros. So there's this. Let's all grab a Kleenex for this one via Big Bob's Cards at Bourbon, Borbon, Bourbon Bo. So Bob tried to
bourbon.
No, because there's no U in it. So Bourbon Bo. Bob tried to claim the Angels spot in a 2021 Bowman Chrome case break. Someone beat him to that spot by less than a minute. Let me repeat, by less than a minute. The case was open, and it had the 1/1 superfractor of Mike Trout in it. So he says, be right back while I cry myself to sleep. So sometimes that's the luck of the draw. But man, I would not have watched that case break. Yeah, I don't break very often, but let's hypothetically say I'm breaking with Andrew and he's got two separate, half case break, one and the second half two, and I buy the A's in part two. I am not watching part one. I don't care what he pulls out of it because I don't want to know what I could have had. I will be content. Sorry if I've been outbid on eBay ones before in my past, or bought one half of a break. I'm not watching the other half because I would be livid if something really good came out for the team that I chose to buy. But
like someone randoming off a half case and selling off, giving away a Will Clark number to 10.
So speaking of tissues,
Funny you mentioned that.
Speaking of tissues, will there be a run on toilet paper cards via @Cards Infinity? If you have not seen this, they just pulled the 2021 Donruss Optic Aaron Judge. Wait for it. Toilet paper SSP. I think it's a SSP.
I
the- I
believe
think the
they are
panic
calling
parallel.
those the
that,
as
Andrew?
Kevin mentioned earlier.
What's that, Andrew? Sorry.
It's the crisis parallel, technically.
Is that
Yeah,
what it's
that's what
called?
it's
Crisis
called, yeah.
Parallel? Dear Jesus.
So,
So-
Kevin had mentioned earlier that these were the crisis parallels. It's totally fitting that it's a Yankee player, and there's never mind.
Seriously, can we stop with this crap? I mean, get it? Get it?
Do we
Yeah.
have to? Nah.
We got masks SSPs last year. Now this shit.
Mhm.
So,
And I actually
sorry,
pulled one of those. Those were kind of cool. I think it was a random Dodger, but it's kind of cool to see. I mean, befitting the year. So here's one for you then. 2022 Optic or Donruss or whatnot. What do you use as the parallel? What key focal point? I mean,
I
maybe
guess
a needle, but
a needle for the. I don't know that they could get away with a needle though.
probably not.
I mean, masks are one thing. Toilet paper. I mean, they're not offensive. Yeah, they symbolize the
Maybe a hand sanitizer bottle.
the pop culture. You're not getting away with a needle on a card, even though we would get that it's in reference to the vaccines, and it would be the same. I don't know that a sanitizer bottle would come across well with the yeah.
It would go over well with the card altering market.
Got the double entendre there, yeah.
Hey.
So yeah. Anyway, the toilet paper SP, collect them if you got them. There's that. So this one was interesting. We talked about this last week, and literally we're putting it right back on the show notes, except it's not the same. It's just a similar topic. Another double super box, this time via Up for Sale Now. Sale is spelled like a
Ship.
sale on a ship, it's Up UP the number 4 SAIL Now. We mentioned on last week's show that someone pulled 2 superfractors from Finest Flashbacks in one box. What are the theoretical odds of that happening? Well, it happened again. Somebody pulled the Luis Garcia from the Nationals and Garrett Crochet of the Rockies. One box. That's 2 boxes and 4 superfractors. That's ridiculous.
So what you're saying is buy now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance your next box of Finest Flashbacks will be featured on next week's show. You too pull 2 superfractors. If only they had 3 PS3s.
Just know that if you pull one, you should expect to find another.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, interesting. We're looking for 1 or 2 more things to add to the show, and all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, wait a minute, this can't be the same thing. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Finest Flashbacks last week, and sure enough, it was. So, all right, let's get to one of our evergreen topics. This is an interesting one, and Andrew, I know you sell on the eBay. What is a good percentage range to place an auto decline? This came across Kim Kinsley, who's actually going to be on the show next week with us at Bean's B Card blog. He tweeted out a week or so ago about setting an auto decline. basically says, do you set an auto decline? And if so, what's a fair percentage to allow quote unquote fair offers?
So, yeah, not to toot our own horn, but I kind of like the way that my work has it set up by default for users, where anything under 75% gets auto declined, and then you can set your own manual auto accept rate. I think it's set to 90% by default. That still gives you a good wiggle room between 75 and 90. I've heard 60 is a good starting point on eBay. Don't disagree with that either. 60 to 90, 95. But that's fair. 30 to 40%.
Andrew, do you use auto declines at all?
Not for the breaking, because those are all via auctions, but for my own,
Sure.
when I sell, random boxes or cards, yes and no. With the boxes, I tend to set an auto decline at the break-even point that I have, just because, at least in the beginning, and that way I don't want to lose money ever on it. For the cards, it really depends. If there's a 101, like I have a 101 soccer card up right now, I have no idea how much that thing's worth or the market for it. So that one I don't set an auto decline, and at least, see what the first few offers are to maybe get a sense of, all right, this is what the market is kind of telling me. But, for the most part, I kind of stick to what my break-even point is.
That's a good barometer, I would say.
Yeah, again, comps are fluid, and 3 to 5 comps are not real comps to begin with. I mean, we should be aware of that now, but it's literally all we have. So if there's an established market, my general rule of thumb is 70% is a fair offer. Doesn't mean you as a seller have to accept it. But Andrew, if you have something for $100 and I offer you $70, I think that is a fair offer. Again, does not mean you have to accept it. But as a seller, you should at least consider it. Okay, hey, am I a little bit high? Has the market shifted? It gives you plenty of room, 30% from your asking price to my offer price to negotiate a little bit should you want to. If you're desperate to move it, if your break-even point is $50, you're making a $20 bill off of it. As a buyer, I don't know that. As a seller, of course, you should. Anything much lower than 70, 65 to 75 is probably a fair range when you start to get down to the 60%. But I bought a Topps Rip card. It was listed for $200, and it sat and it sat and it sat. It was serial numbered out of 3. $200. I offered him $80, which is below 50%. And, it's 40% to what he's got. And next thing I know, it says, pay now. But it sat for 6 months too. And $200 in my estimation was extremely high. I figured he, maybe 110 to 130. But he took the $80 and I now own the card. So it just, there's a lot of variables at play. But as a general rule, 65 to 75 is an auto decline. And a lot of it just depends your tolerance of how much you're willing to listen to toolbox offers, as Ken so eloquently put it in his original tweets. So no right or wrong answer. Use the auto decline to weed out.
I think the dollar amount too matters a lot too. 60% of $50 is $20 difference, but 60% of $1,000 card is $400 difference. So you also got to look at it as what's the total dollar amount as well. It's not necessarily always going to be a percentage number. It may be, a raw number as well, for a lack of a better term.
Well, when I used to sell high-end retail, and my boss was always sell the percentage off, and I said, listen, dum-dum, you never sell the percentage off. You always sell the dollar amount. Because if you come in, Andrew, you and your wife come in and you're like, hey, I want to buy, a couch, and it's like $1,000, 20% off. I'm asking you to do math. Now 20% off of 1,000 is easy for a lot of people to say, okay, that's $200. But when you start to get into what's 25% off of $1,600, and it's like, what is that? $400. And not everybody can do that off the top of their head. And yes, we all have cell phones. Mm-hmm. But if I come in there and say, Andrew, we got a deal right now. all couches are 25% off. This one here, you're looking at $1,600. Check this out. What do you like to do? You like to go fishing? You like, I can, hey, $400. You can go buy your wife a nice dinner tonight. She can go to the mall and maybe buy a new pair of shoes or something for her wardrobe that she enjoys. Oh, you collect baseball cards. Imagine adding $100 card and still having I can put $400 that you had already anticipated spending back into your theoretic budget, as opposed to 25% doesn't buy you anything. It's just a percentage off. So anyway, it's kind of an interesting, do what you feel is most comfortable, obviously, but don't 65 to 75% is fair. But again, you got to consider how desperate you are to move the card, what your break-even point, what's your acquisition cost, always. Mm-hmm. And so many people fail when they're like, oh, I made 80% return. My dad does it all the time. He's like, I made $50 at the antique store today. It's like, but what was your acquisition cost of the item sold? Because if it was $40, then you didn't make $50. And then if you have to pay 15% to the house to sell that, then all of a sudden, plus your time to put it in there and price it, it's like, you've paid yourself back $50 against an $80 output. That's not profit. So we'll skip a couple of these other evergreen ones, Steph. We've got a couple other things I think that might be interesting. Sure. Nothing with the old stuff you see on the eBay and the Facebook this week. Nothing jumped out. We had a listener question today from Kevin W. at RealKevWRock on Twitter. He asked what Topps release needs a major overhaul. Obviously, the answer is always going to be archives. So my modified question from Kevin is, besides archive, which Topps release do you guys think needs a major overhaul? Should Topps exist in perpetuity beyond 2025?
It's not a set, but Series 1, Series 2 updates insert line. There's too many cards too many inserts and too many inserts in that individual insert line. There's no reason we need 50 of a random insert in each series. Shave that down some.
No, I agree. If you're going to do a 3-card, you don't need 50, 50, 50. You could do 20, 20, 20 or some combination thereof to keep those complete sets. 25, 25, 25 gets you a 75 card complete set, not 150. Especially when you're doing the same stuff every year, just on a new design, right? This year it was 86. Next year is going to be 87, then 88.
Yep. And then maybe Topps Ass, Archive Signature Series. Just do away with it.
Yeah, all archives just needs a complete revamp. Andrew, what do you think? Just one Topps release.
So, not sure if this is cheating or not, but I'm going to say Bowman's Best. Okay. I think partly it has to do with, I think the release date is horrible. Middle of December, I think is just it's an awful time for that. And they tend to do kind of a similar thing to Finest, where they try and go with those out there designs. And to me, if you're going to do that, you got to separate it from Finest. And I don't think they do a very good job of that. And like I said, and I think that the release date is just it's just a horrible release date too. Especially when you got Bowman Draft like right there at the same time as well.
Yeah, but both good points. Obviously, as a Shep always would get mad at me because I give him more than one answer when he says one. To your point, Andrew, Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft. Shep this week was complaining about it on Twitter about sorting it, the numbering system, and to be able to decipher the difference between them. That can be an overhaul. We know that they've improved on Heritage with the action and other short print variations. The old days of Topps High Tech when it was around, having these labeled. I just got some gold label in the mail. Swear I cannot tell I know one's class 1 and one's class 3. I've got to ask my 7-year-old which one's which because I can't tell because of the shininess and stuff like that. I just the lighting in my house is not the greatest. Just
the older ones were very difficult with 17 and 18, but these last few ones they've actually done a lot better job of that.
Put it on the back. Put it on the back. Say Class 1 on the back so I can see it in bright, bold letters. But you know, there are a lot of nuances on a lot of these sets. For me personally, my choice would be Topps Opening Day. Different images. Don't create Series 1 all over again a month and a half later with an Opening Day stamp and have the
Series 2
same
preview.
Same
I
crap.
I was expecting you to say either like Topps Fire, Topps Gallery.
No, those are great. You leave those. Yeah. We did have one last question. It was not directed at us directly per se, but we like to borrow things here. So via Floppy Dog Fitness spelled Fitnes. He presumably a he, so I apologize if not. They had asked if a player has a card from their rookie year, but no rookie card symbol, is it still a rookie card?
I think that would fall in with that whole rookie year, rookie card debate where it's the player's rookie year, but it's not a rookie card.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is also pre-rookie card logo, because otherwise you would say, well, yeah, it's already, because look, the 85 McGuire's the rookie, and that's not his rookie year. So,
you know, what's funny, and we've mentioned this more than once on the show, where we can't agree what rookie cards are, so we're never, as a collective hobby, going to agree on anything, because that's literally the most simple thing that we should be able to agree on. Is what is a rookie card, and understandably
85.
so. The more I listen to Dr. Beckett's podcast and his discussions with Rich Klein and whatnot, where rookie cards were, how they were viewed, you know, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, it wasn't really a thing. They weren't really sought after at that time as they are today. You know, as a basic rule, every card within a player's rookie year is his rookie card. Anything that came before, in other words, your pro debuts and your Bowman series, your Elite Extra editions are all pre-rookie cards. You know, your 1985 Olympic insert sets, they're pre-rookie cards. And then you have, not everybody has a true rookie card. And I know we'll have Nick Vosbrink on in a few weeks. We can ask him about his thoughts on the Maury Wills of the world. You know, Alex Rodriguez, that didn't have true Topps rookie card because he was exclusively signed not with Topps at that time. So I think his first Topps card was like his 4th or 5th year. But yeah, any card is released in that rookie year, I think we should all agree, is a rookie card. It's just you have pre-rookie cards, you have a true rookie card, if we can agree on that, and then you have XRCs, extra rookie cards. If flagship is the standard bearer, then there's your rookie card, and everything from heritage to archives and everything in between, fire and gallery. You know, and that's just talking about baseball. Obviously, you know, basketball, football, hockey, they obviously are going to have different nuances as well. But yeah, Young Guns is desirable, but is that the true rookie card, or would it be the base in the Series 1, Series 2?
That is the base, though.
But Young Guns is an insert, is it not? Am I mistaken?
No, so for an I can't give you an exact quote, but for example, it's like 1 through 250 are the base, and then 251 to 300 are Young Guns.
It's like an all-star card, from the 90s.
You learn something new every day, even if you didn't want to.
A subset.
So we have a couple of shout outs before we wrap up tonight's show. Just a quick reminder, I believe he's still running it. Anthony Corona at Anthony's with an S, Corona, or Anthony S. Corona, is running a promo for Brian Bice. If he is still running that, go check out Anthony's timeline. If you buy any cards from him, you can donate that money directly to Brian Bice. And, you know, then, of course, you would let Anthony know with a screenshot or something to show that you did give the donation to Brian. Anthony will ship you the cards. And that'll be his donation as far as shipping and postage. Please support this sale. It goes to a great cause. And, of course, reminder, we'll keep mentioning this through the end of the month at Bice Music and at Carmen Fund. Great organization. Brian is continuing on his sport lots at Brian B03, he'll run that promotion through October 31st. Any profits he's going to donate to his daughter's fund, which is at Carmen Fund. And then if you want to make a direct donation, please reach out to Brian at Bice Music, and I'm sure he'd be happy to coordinate some kind of a donation effort. I don't know what all he has set up. So
all
He
three
I checked with
of
him.
these are in the pin tweet for both Carmen Fund, Bice Music, Anthony's Corona, as well. And Brian's main profile, it has his Sport Lots link.
yeah, if you want to set something up personally, if you've got some lower end stuff, some mid range stuff that you just want to get off of your proverbial desk and donate the proceeds from the sales, hey, reach out to Brian, reach out to us, let us know. We'd be happy to offer you a shout out. That's what Anthony did. He's like, hey, I got a favor. You guys mind mentioning this on last week's show? As long as he's running that promotion, we'll keep it in the show notes. So, and if I've got to read, Steph's got to read 10 minutes worth of these at the end of the show, we would absolutely be honored to be a part of that. If there's nothing else we can do, but that, we would love to. So if you've got cards or want to make a financial donation, please reach out to about the cards. If you don't have a way to get a hold of Brian, which you can find at Bice BICE Music. Real quick about the cards, got a lot of great feedback from last week's show. Guest Jeff Soxie. We would love to thank him again for sitting in with us and sharing his knowledge and insight on the economics of just finances in general, but of course how that directly and indirectly relates to the trading card hobby. If you didn't catch episode 170, you might want to catch the first hour. It was a real phenomenal interview and some insight on investing and arbitrage and speculation that don't come, from my mouth. So Jeff's a great guy. We'll definitely have him on again, and we definitely got a lot of positive feedback. Which brings me to the kind of a follow-up. If you know of anyone you'd like to see on and about the cards episode in the future, please let us know. It's literally how we met show and personal friend Nick Wasika, who we had not yet been introduced to until our friend Matt Major at Once a Cub and Cardboard Stats says, hey, you guys really need to get Nick on the show. We invited him on. He's been on now twice, even featured us in an episode of his Upper Deck YouTube series.
Partied with him in person.
Yeah, Nick's a great guy. So if you know anybody that you want to have on the show, whether it be an artist or a collector that, is a super collector of some kind or anything that somebody might have that can teach us all something, we'd love to have a conversation with them and see if we can coordinate a time to bring them on. And then unfortunately, we do have one somber shout out, really dear friend of ours, Joey Shiver, and the Shiver family, Dub Mentality. His father passed away this past week, and we want to make sure that he knows he's in our thoughts and prayers, and our love is with him. And if you haven't had a chance to reach out to Dub, obviously please respect his privacy, but I'm sure he would like the kind thoughts, and he tweeted it out, so you can always like his tweet if nothing else. Just so that that's a way to show some love in his direction. So,
Indeed.
and then
I personally sent him a text while we were at Austin City Limits, and I was meant to address this during the mail days, but Dub, as I did previously show them, the silver and green DeAndre Swift will be in the mail here shortly, headed towards you, so maybe that will brighten your day.
And Dub is scheduled to be on November 10th, assuming he's up to it and feels like he wants to sit with us for a little while. If not, we definitely understand. Sure. Just real quick, we go over the October 13th next week. We're going to have Ken Kinsley on with us at Bean's B-Card blog. The following week, October 20th, we're going to invite Nick Vosbrink at Vosbrink back on. So if you have any questions about how cards get printed, printing plates or otherwise, Nick is a plethora of information when it comes to that. Episode 174 on October 27th is going to have Mike Biggins at Biggs with a double G, Biggs Daddy Cool. We had a Sunday spotlight with him early on in the About the Cards run. So it'll be interesting to hear about what Mike's got going on. On November 3rd, we have Andrew Renault from Bayside Breakers returning to the show. And then, as I mentioned, November 10th will be Joey Shiver at Mentality. So we are open November 17th and beyond. If you have anybody, let us know.
Did he cut out or did I cut out?
No, it was him
Ben is cutting out.
at the last
Well, that's
second.
not good. But essentially, what he was going to say was, if you have any great guests, guest suggestions, shoot them our way. As always, have a great week. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll talk soon. Bye.